So thank you for coming. I'm attorney Gloria Allred. To my left is Robin Tyler. To my right is Diane Olson. And they will be making some statements after I make a statement. And then to my right standing is my law partner of almost 40 years, Michael Morocco. And to my left is my law partner of many decades, John West, both of whom participated in our California Supreme Court case in very, very significant ways and argued it. Today, the United States Supreme Court ruled 5-4 in the case of Obergefell versus Hodges that marriage equality is now the law of our land and that same-sex couples are entitled to the equal protection of the law. This is a landmark, historic United States Supreme Court decision which we celebrate today and which is long overdue. As Supreme Court Justice Kennedy said, quote, "Under the Constitution, same-sex couples seek in marriage the same legal treatment as opposite-sex couples, and it would disparage their choices and diminish their personhood to deny them that right," end quote. I was the first attorney in California in 2004 to announce that if Robin Tyler and Diane Olson were denied a marriage license, that I would file a lawsuit on their behalf challenging the ban on same-sex marriage in California. They were denied a marriage license. My law firm and I took their case all the way to the California Supreme Court. We won, and as a result, Robin and Diane became the first same-sex couple to be permitted to marry in Los Angeles County. In addition, I recently honored the couple, April DeBoer and Jayne Rowse, whose case was decided by the United States Supreme Court today, DeBoer versus Snyder. They rode in my car at the recent Christopher Street West Gay and Lesbian Pride Parade in West Hollywood on June 14th, 2015. The Women's Equal Rights Legal Defense and Education Fund, of which I am president, is listed as an amicus, which is friend of the court, on a brief in support of April and Jayne in their United States Supreme Court case. April and Jayne, a Michigan couple who are RNs, simply wanted to be able to adopt children, some of whom had special needs. They learned that both of them would not be permitted to adopt because Michigan banned the right to marry for same-sex couples. Today, they have won, and we are so proud that we have been able to support them. As Justice Kennedy concluded in his eloquently written majority opinion today, quote, "No union is more profound than marriage, for it embodies the highest ideals of love, fidelity, devotion, sacrifice, and family. In forming a marital union, two people become something greater than once they were. Marriage embodies a love that may endure even past death. It would misunderstand these men and women to say they disrespect the idea of marriage. Their plea is that they do respect it so deeply that they seek to find its fulfillment for themselves. Their hope is not to be condemned to live in loneliness, excluded from one of civilization's oldest institutions. They ask for dignity in the eyes of the law. The Constitution grants them that right," end quote. I am so proud of our Supreme Court and of our country today. I have been fighting the battle for equal rights for gay and lesbian individuals and couples for almost 40 years. This ruling is as a result of decades of small steps by courageous individuals, their families, their co-workers, and civil rights pioneers. I am so happy that they will no longer have to suffer the indignity of being second-class citizens under the law. They will no longer have to endure the humiliation and the disrespect that accompanies second-class personhood. I thank God that I have lived to see this day and can share in the joy that it brings to millions of Americans. And this is a copy of the United States Supreme Court decision this morning. And we are so proud to have been a small part of this wonderful victory. And afterwards, I will show you these photos. But these photos are from when April and Jayne were in our office with Robin and Diane and myself. And we just celebrate with them today. Thank you very much, and I'm happy to show you them and their children afterwards.
Yeah.
Okay, Robin, I'll change places with you. Okay.
All right, it's a dance. I wasn't going to start out with this, but I want to tell you something, Gloria Allred. I've never seen you cry at a press conference.
I know.
I mean,
That's a
we've been friends for a long time,
It's our
and
first.
it's okay. It's okay. You know, it's been a
Okay.
long struggle. I emailed Gloria and I said it's going to come down on June the 26th, and she said why? And I said because on June the 26th, 2003, Kennedy wrote the opinion for Lawrence v. Texas, and the sodomy law was struck down. On June the 26th, 2013, Kennedy wrote the decision for Windsor v. the United States, and DOMA was struck down. Well, Kennedy has hit it out of the ballpark. June 26, 2015, 3 out of 3, Justice Kennedy. Thank you very, very much. Thank you very, very much. I'm going to read a short statement. I usually don't read what I think legally of it because I'm not the lawyer, but I think this is the most consequential ruling that the Supreme Court has issued with regards to equal protection and fundamental liberty in decades on any topic, any topic. The court established a strong and broad set of principles in the ruling that extends far beyond marriage rights. And this is how I really feel. We got up early. We got up at 6 in the morning and fed our pugs and sat down ready to watch the decision. And as soon as it came down, the phone rang, and it was Jayne. It was Jayne, who is one of the people in the couple here, Jayne and April, to say, thank you, please tell Gloria, thank you very much for starting the California case because we feel it led to our case today. And she was crying, and I said, are you wearing makeup? She said, no. And I am now, but I wasn't either. But she was crying, and the first call she made was to thank you and to thank Diane and I for doing this, and it was wonderful. I've been out since 1959. I used to hold up a sign in Canada saying gay is good, and people thought I meant happy and would give us money. But since I was 16 years old, I thought, why can't we be like everybody else? And I fought for marriage rights. I met Diane, 40 years ago, but we became partners 22 years ago. And I really wanted to marry her, and I couldn't marry her. And when Gloria filed the lawsuit on our behalf, and nobody else would take this lawsuit, we asked a lot of people to take it, and only Gloria would take it, pro bono, which I found out meant for free, and won. And she won, and we were able to marry. And today, you know, it was hard having marriage apartheid in the United States, where we could marry in California, but we couldn't marry in Mississippi, or we couldn't marry. So our community today is like, it's like New Year's Eve for our community. Everybody we know is celebrating. Everybody's writing each other and calling each other, and even people that, you know, ex-lovers are contacting each other, you know, and right, the pink flu today. So it's a miracle that it happened. Somebody asked me if I expected it to happen within my lifetime. Of course I did. Of course I did. You have to have hope, and when you struggle long enough for something, I believe you win. So I'm very, very happy, and my wife and I are very, very happy that this happened today.
Diane, you want to sit here?
Sure.
And then we'll take questions.
Okay, I have got to say that
I've cried twice this morning now because I have never seen you cry. And that warmed my heart. What a great day this is, not just for us, but for everyone that was involved in doing this for all these years. You know, it took all of us in the streets. I said from the get-go, we're not going to go away. Everyone thought, when I'd say, of course we're going to win. Mike said to me this morning, did you think we'd ever see this day? Yes, I knew we'd see this day. It's the right thing to do. The justices did it right. I absolutely, my sweet, we did good. And, you know, it's for all of us. It's for the Jaynes and Aprils. It's for, you know, we live in California, and we fought our fight here, but it's for the middle states that have no rights that we do this. And now it's done. We still have a little work to do, but we won. Today is a big win. Thank you.
Thank you.
And all of you. Okay.
Okay, let's take some questions. Okay.
I'm going to trade with you, Gloria.
Sit there. Thank you. We'll be happy to take some questions. And by the way, at the news conference we had with April and Jayne, we had a big sign up that said, "Love can't wait." And I will just say that now love does not have to wait any longer. Be happy to take any questions.
Can you talk about what's ahead legally? As you know, some of the concern among opponents of same-sex marriage is that pastors and priests will be required to marry same-sex couples. Do you think that should be the case? And talk about what's ahead legally next.
Well, this is really not about pastors or priests or any other religious leader. This is about whether a state, whether the government can deny a marriage license, legal recognition of marriage to same-sex couples. And that's why it's important, and that is why it is a case before the United States Supreme Court. It is not about whether or not ministers, pastors, priests, or rabbis, or any other person, spiritual leader, has to marry. It's about whether a state can deny a marriage license. And now, no state in the United States, including those 13 states that still have denied marriage licenses, can continue to deny them to same-sex couples anymore.
Are there any legal fights left, or is it over?
Well, there are many civil rights battles ahead. Our work is, yeah, our work is not done. There will be many battles ahead. I want to say that the Supreme Court did not give us this decision today. This is a decision which has been hard fought for and won. And in the same way that no one ever gave women the right to vote, we have had to fight to win it. This is a victory that has been won. And yes, there'll be many more legal battles ahead, but we are prepared to continue to fight those battles. And I know that there are many attorneys across the country who are committed to fighting them as well.
Can you talk about what types of fights still need to be fought, what issues still need to be resolved?
Well, I mean, there's still, there are many, I mean, we're still handling many cases of employment discrimination against people who are gay, lesbian, transgender. There are, you know, still a lot of violence against people on account of their sexual orientation or on account of the fact that they are transgender. I'm involved in a case right now where a transgender woman was badly beaten, and you'll be hearing more about that soon. But, you know, there are many battles to be fought. And, I mean, in California, we are among those who have fought those battles, and will continue to fight those battles, and hopefully we'll be on the cutting edge, and we will lead the way.
I want to say one thing. We need a civil rights bill, a federal civil rights bill, that will strike down every law against LGBT people. We don't have the right to work in, I think, 30 states. We have a lot of work to do. But I believe that this case, because because we have the right to marry in every state, And a lot of people are saying, well, if we get married, then that means we're coming out and we could be fired from our job. So I think this is the crack in the foundation. And I believe that the foundation will now crumble and that we will have total civil rights. But I hope it's not done on a case-to-case basis. I'd like to see it done, I'd like to see it done like the Civil Rights Bill for African Americans, where we have total civil rights. And with regards to priests or ministers marrying us, rabbis, a lot of rabbis won't marry people that are, if one is not Jewish and the other is Jewish, they don't want to marry them. They've never been forced to marry them in that case. Nobody's ever forced anybody to do anything. Of course, religious people are exempt. They tried to make this a religious issue. It's not. It was a civil issue. The right to marry was just a legal issue. There's no such thing as gay marriage. There's just marriage. And now we have the right to it.
And talking about tradition, I mean, the
Tradition.
Supreme Court has pointed out today in its decision that it's also the tradition of this nation to consider marriage a fundamental right. It's a fundamental constitutional right. And so this fundamental constitutional right does now encompass same-sex couples.
What's next for the ladies? Obviously celebrating tonight, but what's
Well, tonight, Robin and Diane and I are going to be speaking at the big rally, the West Hollywood rally, which is from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. in the West Hollywood Park. And,
Play.
and so we're going to celebrate with so many other people who have worked hard to win equal rights. And now it's going to be a major celebration tonight.
What do you think is the domino effect? Obviously, this was a groundbreaking case. This is historic. So what happens next as a result of this decision?
As a result of this decision, many couples in those 13 states are going to be able to marry. And also, the other important part of this decision is that if a couple is lawfully married in a state that does recognize marriage equality and then moves to another state which had banned couples from marrying if they were same-sex couples, that those other states that did not recognize same-sex marriage must now recognize a lawfully performed marriage from another state. So those were the two questions before the Supreme Court. One, is there a fundamental right to marry? Are couples protected by the 14th Amendment, equal protection under the law? And two, if they are married in a state that recognizes same-sex marriage and then moves to another state that does not recognize it, must their valid marriage be recognized? And the answer is yes. And that's so important to military couples who move often from state to state because they are required to move to a different base. It's also important to many people who have to move for other work-related reasons or because they want to be closer to their families and want help for their children. And I just think it's so tremendously important also to the children of so many couples.
About the legal rights
Yes.
under marriage than
Yes.
perhaps even love, perhaps even romance.
Yeah, it's about love. It's about respect. It's about legal protection under the law. And that's what it's about. Because rights are more important than just saying, I feel for you, I have compassion for you. We want people to actually have rights that they can assert.
Do you know what I thought about today? All the men that died of AIDS, whose families, a lot of them's families came in, took everything. Some of the men weren't allowed at their partner's funeral after years and years, and they loved each other. So is marriage about love? Yes, marriage is about love. But to have some fundamental right with your partner to legally attend their funeral and not have, the AIDS era is really what propelled those of us that were activists to understand that we needed legal recognition. And today is not the end. Today is the beginning of a domino effect where we intend to fight for all of our rights in the United States. This is a great celebration, but it's not the end. It's the beginning of it's the beginning of the end of discrimination against us in all areas. And so we'll celebrate today, we'll celebrate tonight, we'll go out for dinner, and then we'll go back to organizing until we get it all.
I want to say, too, that I'm especially moved today because I remember the case that our firm had, Rowland versus Kowitsky against Papa Shoe Restaurant in Los Angeles in 1983, where we represented a lesbian couple who went to Papa Shoe Restaurant, and they wanted to sit in the romantic section of the restaurant for dinner to celebrate Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. And they made a reservation, and they went in, and they were asked to leave the section for romantic dining and just sit in the main section instead. And they decided that they were not going to be denied their rights. And they came to us, and we fought for them. And we won a precedent-setting case in the California Court of Appeals in the 1980s that said that a business may not deny a couple the services of that business establishment, in that case a restaurant, simply because of their gender or sexual orientation. So we've come a long way from a couple who just wanted to celebrate their love for each other and did nothing else, weren't even trying to kiss in that booth, to this day, where couples can celebrate their love. They can kiss, and they can get a marriage license when they do it, too. So,
You know, marriage does have a romantic notion to it. There is no doubt about it. Robin and I were together, have been together 23 years. We've been married for 7 of those years. For me, yes, because I love her. The statement is, this is the person I will take a bullet for. This is my person in life. This is the person I choose to live my life with. And I need her medical insurance. I need some protection for if something happens. But as we're all talking, I'm sitting and looking at April and Jayne with these babies, these adopted special need babies, that if something were to happen to one of them, the other one couldn't have the children because they can't be married. These children have been in my house. I wish I was one of these children. They are so loved. And it just, the joy in today is now there is great protection for these kids, for adopted kids, and this is a good thing. It's a joy day. It really is. All the things that we need to do and that's in front of us and that we still need to do, obviously, there's still work to be done, but today is a big win.
and they are now adopting a baby as well.
Another one.
That's a 5th.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, last question.
People that you might officiate, are they going to get married, and might you officiate?
Well, we've talked about that, and my guess is they are going to get married. They started this battle not to marry, but to be able to adopt in Michigan. And they were denied the right for both of them to adopt, which the trial judge pointed out to them, your real problem is you can't marry.
Right.
And so then they challenged the right to marry. Then they won in the lower court, lost in the Court of Appeals, and then writ of certiorari to the Supreme Court. So I do believe they will be getting married. And they are the most loving people.
Oh, my God.
And the bond that they have with their children is one that I think all of us can only wish that we would have with our own, and hopefully many of us do, but not everyone does. Have 2 registered nurses who want to adopt these special needs children and show them the love. Be there for them. It's really incredible. So thank you very much for coming, and we hope that we'll also see some of you tonight at the West Hollywood rally.
Come
Thank you.
celebrate with us.
All right, come celebrate. Oh, yeah. Okay, so I will. Thank you. All right.